welcome to another edition of Treelawn Talks. This is our weekly profile of upcoming events at the Treelawn Music Hall and Treelawn Social Club, both located at 15335 Waterloo Road, Cleveland, Ohio, just off of I-90. My name's Eric Hansen, and thanks for joining us. We're real excited to have Eric Brook, who's the lead vocalist and guitarist for In the Heartland, the music of Michael Stanley. It's going to be happening this Saturday, April 13th at 7 p.m. We're real excited. Obviously, has a lot of importance to everyone in this region and one of the most exciting groups doing MSB music. So thanks for being here, Eric.
Appreciate you having me.
Can you talk a little bit about how the project started and how it's changed, if it has, and a little bit about the members and your relationship to Michael Stanley's music?
Well, it started a few years ago when Kelly Derrick started the band. Kelly Derrick, back in the day, had Stage Pass. If you remember Stage Pass, they were a Michael Stanley tribute band. Yeah. And Michael actually enjoyed the band and, gave Kelly his blessing to have the band. Kelly passed away a couple years ago, and he had put the band together with a bunch of different musicians, and they were Cleveland musicians, of course. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that after Kelly passed, I had done my own Michael Stanley tribute. Mm-hmm. And I had invited Danny Powers, the guitarist from MSB, to come out to my Michael Stanley tribute. This was right after Michael had passed away. And I did the tribute down at Jackson Amphitheater in Massillon. And Danny actually showed up and listened to a set and came backstage, and we talked for a little bit. And then shortly after that is when Kelly passed away. So In the Heartland decided that they wanted to try to continue doing what they were doing. And Danny at that point had just been sitting in guest appearing with them. He decided to take more of a, hands-on approach to the In the Heartland band. He was enjoying playing MSB the way it was played back in the day. Mm-hmm. And Michael was selling out Blossom. So they auditioned several singers, and it wasn't working out from what I was told. I wasn't there, but they ended up, Danny said, why don't you just get the Eric Brook guy that we went and saw? And so I received the phone call saying, would you sing for Danny's bandies? And I said, of course I would. I would love to. I was very surprised. So went up and auditioned, and we ended up doing a show, I think, within the next month and a half.
That's awesome.
So that's how it ended up coming together. We've had a couple people in and out through sicknesses and things like that, but we've got a pretty amazing lineup right now.
That's kind of like a Cinderella story, like mostly the region, because that, I don't know if you remember the Ripper from Judas Priest.
Yeah.
That all started. He was in Akron, I guess, right? And he was like, I thought KK Downing's wife was, anyway, but there's some magic in the region like that. So that's cool.
Right. I'm like the baby Ripper.
The Ripper Jr. Your voice will last a lot longer. I grew up in this area, and, Michael Stanley obviously is like larger than life figure. I was thinking about him and how much of a beloved character he was. And, because he also was on the radio and stuff like that. And that sounds like an old man thing to say, but they just don't make him like that anymore. And I just thought like he had such the complete package. And I just wondered if there's anyone you think is still doing something of that stature who's associated with Cleveland. There's someone like we used to point to Michael Stanley and say he's our guy, and,
right.
It just seems like it's a bygone thing a little bit. So it's really cool that you guys are doing it. So
yeah, it's Michael definitely is the face of Cleveland when it comes to music, and will be.
Yeah,
I'm concerned. The guy was so talented and wrote so many amazing songs. I sit here and I just had this conversation yesterday, listening to Tom Petty.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Tom Petty. I
Totally.
love all this stuff. His band was amazing. And then it always just crosses my mind. It's like, yeah, they were amazing and they were great songs, but MSB to me was a better band and had songs. A lot of Tom Petty songs whether it was the lyrics were kind of like, I don't know, I hate to say, it not as good as Michael's.
No, I hear you. Oh,
and I just think Michael should have been as big as Tom Petty,
Yeah. Well, at least he didn't, but he didn't have to live that crazy a life, I guess, as wearing his body down that much. But he did get around. He did get around a lot. No, I hear you on that. Can you talk more about the players who are going to be here on Saturday and what their relationship is? I know it's sort of an all-star crew from Cleveland bands, it seems.
I'm very blessed that I get to play with, the guys from the legendary MSB band, and Danny Powers is the lead guitarist, and he joined in, I believe it was 1983, he joined MSB. He performed on the Can't Fight Fashion album, and, which of course had My Town off of it, and Someone Like You, and Hard Time, a lot of great songs, classic Michael Stanley songs. And Danny will be with us. Now, a lot of times we have Michael Gismondi, MSB's longtime bass player. And we also have Gary Markowski, who played lead guitar for MSB for, I believe it was 7 years, 6-7 years, and played on all the, the big albums from Cabin Fever on up until Danny joined. And so a lot of times we have all three of those gentlemen playing with us, but Danny's going to be there at Treelawn. And then we have Johnny Shu, keyboardist, amazing keyboard player. He's also going to be doing double duty because he plays with Dreamstreet, who is opening the show.
Right.
And they're a Cleveland AOR band that Johnny had joined, but they've been around. They have the big sound, 80s sound, great band, great vocals. So don't get there late to the show.
All right, don't get there late.
And catch that. I think they're starting right at 7:00. So, But Johnny's keyboard player. We have Michael Scott Nelson on drums. He's played around the area for quite a while now as well. Mark Rasnick is our sax player. He does tons of big shows around Cleveland and actually tours around the U.S. He'll be with us. Bill March, recently inducted into the Rock Gods Hall of Fame at the Music Box, was the bass player for Boku. I'm sure you probably remember.
Oh, yeah. I totally remember Boku.
Boku, big band. So Bill's our bassist and background vocalist. And I think I got them all. We got a big band. I got to remember.
I think you're right. I think that's the same list. How did you come up with the set list, or is it pretty steady whenever you play, or is it the obvious hits, or do you get some hidden gems in there also?
The set list is, we'd like to say MSB like it's 1983. It has pretty much all of the hits that you can think of, plus we do a lot of album cuts as well. A lot of fan favorites that may not have, been on the Billboard charts, but the fans love and sing along to. And it's a great list. I can't wait to play. Can't wait to sing it. I enjoy every single song too. So
that's killer. We're talking with Eric Brook from In the Heartland, the music of Michael Stanley band. It's going to be this Saturday, April 13th at the Treelawn. Starts at 7:00 with Dreamstreet. Thanks for your time. And it's a 7:00 show this Saturday. It's Treelawn Music Hall. It's our beautifully renovated, bigger room there. And the sound is fantastic. We've had some really great shows lately. And you can get tickets at thetreelawn.com in advance. And the address, once again, is 15335 Waterloo Road. Eric, thank you so much for taking the time, and we're really looking forward to having you in.
Appreciate it. I can't wait to get there and play some MSB.